Give me the opportunity to tell you something that may cause you some discomfort, but it is the truth. And if you actually want to develop and succeed in your career, you have to listen to it. No one even cares. Indeed, I did say it. There is no one who cares if you are worn out. It makes no difference to anyone if you are financially strapped. It makes no difference to anyone whether you were brought up without a father, abandoned, betrayed, laughed at, or neglected altogether. You are not going to be rescued by anyone. Nobody will pick you up from the ground and transport you to the place where you have always dreamed of being. You have to rouse yourself. You are going to have to move. The effort that you put in is required. Rather than because other people are watching or applauding, you should do it because you owe it to yourself. As soon as you take a closer look at life, something genuine will become apparent to you once you have eliminated all of the noise, opinions, and phony support, as well as those individuals who only show up when you have won. In every single step of the road, who is the one and only person who has your back? Who is it? You. Therefore, you must stop waiting for other people to show concern. It is imperative that you terminate your wait for a cheerleader. You have to stop waiting for other people to recognize, acknowledge, and appreciate the potential that you possess. The reality is that even if they never get a chance to see it, it does not mean that it does not exist. In no way does that suggest that you do not possess it. This is the meaning of it. It is necessary to delve deeply. Also, you are responsible for doing it for yourself. Pay attention to what I have to say. When I first started, they did not give me anything. There was no one waiting for me on the red carpet and shouting, "Come on, Denzel, we've been waiting for you." Instead, I needed to demonstrate that I was worthy of the opportunity. It was necessary for me to get into rooms where no one knew my name. I was required to try out for a number of different roles, but I was consistently rejected. In addition, it wasn't because I enjoy being rejected, it was because I had faith in something that was more significant than my suffering. In the same way that I believed in myself, you should also believe in yourself. 2, even when it is difficult, especially when it is difficult, because the fact of the matter is that people may support you in public, but question you in private. You can expect them to cheer your wins, but they will talk about your losses. When you are at the bottom, they will say things like, "I always believed in you when you were at the top," but when you are at the top, they will remain silent. Thus, you need to question yourself. Why am I engaging in this activity? What is the purpose of my actions? Because you will exhaust yourself if you continue to do it in order to disprove their claims. You are going to be completely let down if you are attempting to win people's affection. If, on the other hand, you are doing it for yourself, because it is significant to your soul, because it is in accordance with your vocation, and you are unwilling to live a life of little, then nothing will happen. There is no one who can stop you. At this point, let's take things seriously. There will be times when you will feel as though you are not seen, and everything that you touch will crumble. Situations in which members of your own family do not comprehend you. Those times when your so-called friends disappear. Those days when the people you devoted the most for had the least amount of return for their efforts. Nevertheless, you must remember yourself on such particular days. On the other hand, I wasn't doing it for them. When the world becomes more gloomy, you are required to carry your own light. When no one else is encouraging you, you have to encourage yourself.
Oh, I see.
You are required to give yourself a clap. As you probably well know, being ignored affords you a certain degree of resilience as a result of being questioned, from being undervalued or underrated. You are of the pressure. It either destroys you, you are being pieced together moment by moment. And if you are still here, breathing, suffering, and dreaming, it is because you are being put together, piece by piece. Take it one storm at a time. I am aware of how challenging it is. I am aware that there are moments when the burden feels quite heavy, but allow me to tell you something. The formation of diamonds requires intense pressure. In the same way that fire cleanses gold, everything you've been through shapes who you are. Don't squander your time watching for sympathy. You shouldn't just wait around and hope that someone would notice your suffering and come to your rescue, since the reality is that the world places a high value on results. It's possible that you have a million different motives for doing so. Any you did not make it, or you did, and the reason for any of those outcomes is thanks to you. Because you wanted more, you went through with it. It was because you were sick of feeling exhausted that you decided to do it. The reason you did it is because your soul was molded by mediocrity. Because you didn't feel right, you went ahead and did it. Making do with less than ideal compared to what God instilled within you. It is impossible to find a more powerful power, a more intelligent plan, or a more perfect timing than the plan that God has for your life. When you have a belief in that is genuine, profound, and unchanging, you become free from the need to constantly seek the approval of other people. It is imperative that you stop pleading for approval. It is no longer necessary for you to reduce your size in order to fit within constraints that were never intended to accommodate your extraordinary size. You do not require 1,000 likes. There is no such thing as becoming viral. It is not necessary for you to have the hoarsest voice in the environment. You are able to continue walking without the need for applause. Only obedience is required of you, and that is it. Obeying the calling, the purpose, and the procedure that has been established. Even when you are by alone, when things are challenging, or when it seems as though no one is picking up on your efforts, all you need is trust. Let me also inform you that having faith is not always a glamorous thing to do. There is a calmness in faith. Sometimes faith is not loud enough to be heard from the rooftops. Faith is a voice that encourages you to persevere even when everything within you is making you want to give up. The presence of faith serves as a reminder that you are not forgotten, even when the world acts as if you do not exist. Despite the fact that it seems as though the journey is drawing to an end, faith is adamant that there is more to come. You need the peaceful confidence that says, I know who I am. I understand why I am here, not because the world told me, but because God enlightened me. When God tells you who you are, dear, you don't need a guide to affirm it. Your mannerisms and speech are different, due to the fact that they did not hear what you heard. Your motions that you make cause confusion among individuals. The things that Jesus showed you were not seen by them. And when God gave you the vision and the calm, they were not there in the darkness with you. And when you reach that level of spiritual maturity, when your faith is stronger than your fear, and when your mission is more audible than the din that is going on around you, everything will change. When you reach that point, the game changes because you are no longer looking for approval. It is no longer your goal to conform to the norm. The time has come when you are no longer pursuing individuals who were not intended to travel with you on your journey. The act of explaining and reducing has come to an end. Put a stop to agreeing. How come? Mostly due to the fact that you have come to grips with who you are overall. It is at this point when the elevation begins. Not only am I referring to the blessings of worldly possessions, but I am also referring to the growth of the individual, about having knowledge and being clear. That is the moment when your spirit grows. When this happens, your choices will start to make sense. At that moment, your energy starts to communicate with you. Even before you open your mouth, it is no longer necessary for you to employ force. There is no longer any need for you to ask for it. You simply transform into it. When that occurs, the doors that were locked and you thought would never open start swinging open as if they had never been locked in the first place. Oh man, this is a real surprise. That is not because you were the one who brought them down. Rather, it is because you gradually developed into the kind of person that belonged on the other side. You are aware that timing is really important, and there are instances when God will not open a door until you are prepared to confront what lies behind it. You have to develop yourself first. First and foremost, you need to mature, because opportunities do not present themselves on their own. Until you reach that degree of maturity, you are required to have faith in the process you are following, even when it does not make sense. Because blessings gravitate toward the version of yourself that acknowledges who you are intended to be. You attract them, not because you seek blessings, but because blessings gravitate toward other versions of yourself. When this occurs, a sense of calmness emerges, not the kind of serenity that is fleeting, especially not the kind that is dependent on how other people treat you or how nice life feels on that particular day. This is the kind of calm that I'm speaking to. Having that protects your spirit. This is the kind of tranquility that let me know that I am fine, even if other people don't like me. I am still walking, even if they do not comprehend what I am doing. Despite the fact that I shall be walking by myself, I will continue to walk. Freedom, not ego, is what you have here. Rather than being a sign of pride that displays maturity, that is the kind of tranquility that cannot be bought with fiat currency. You're unable to fake it. There is no way to borrow it. You can only achieve this by having the knowledge that your acts are planned, that your mission is divine, and that your life was created by something that is more significant than the opinions of the general public. And allow me to tell you something. The value of peace cannot be overstated. The reason for this is because the rest of the world is out there having fun, dressing up and trying to impress people they have never met before on social media. If you are trying to appear wealthy rather than being complete, or if you are trying to be seen rather than being real, you are engaging in something that is significantly more powerful. You are putting in work yourself, you are growing as a person and healing the wounds that you have sustained. By doing so, you are making an investment in your growth, your future, and your very being. While they are out there buying temporary highs, those who are out there, long-term strength is what you are developing. During the time that they are performing for applause and likes, you are establishing a foundation that will not be shaken by silence. You are making things that will last because you are aware of the situation. Getting praise is not the source of genuine delight. Indeed, a triumph, it does not originate from genuine peace or from widespread popularity. It is only when you stop relying on anything outside of yourself to justify what is already within you that you will be able to find true serenity. So let them to follow the trends. Make it possible for them to put on a happy front and behave as if everything is perfect. In spite of the fact that others are falling apart on the inside, you continue to look out for yourself. In spite of this, you continue to prioritize progress above gossip. The pursuit of purpose continues to take precedence over popularity. Even if no one applauds, you decide to continue walking. The purpose of this walk is not to address them, even if no one notices. The goal is to develop into everything that God had in mind for you to be. Additionally, I assure you that if you devote your attention to it, elevation will occur naturally rather than being forced upon you. I am. It was not hurried or artificial, but it was perfectly timed. Additionally, when you finally achieve success and the world takes notice of you, you won't require their praise, since you will already be aware that you have accomplished enough. Your whole life, you have been working toward becoming who you are, becoming the version of yourself that God saw before anyone ever questioned you is the focus of this endeavor. Refused to accept you or made an effort to confine you, neither because someone finally gave you permission, nor because the entire world suddenly became aware of your existence and said, well, now we see you. On the other hand, you gave yourself permission because you were sick of waiting, begging, and acting smaller than you actually were. You know what? You whispered to yourself as you stared in the mirror, I've got this, God. All my life, I've got it. Permit me to share a true story with you. Early on in my life, before I had any prizes, before I had any headlines, and before I had any respect, I was absolutely broke. Not simply referring to the financial aspect. I'm also referring to the concept of having one's spirit and confidence destroyed. I had lost my sense of who I was. I was having serious reservations about everything. For my part, this is my gift and my call. Are you familiar with the location? When you look around at your life, have you ever asked yourself, God, what am I doing? Have you ever sat in solitude and wondered if you were doing the right thing? All of your efforts are completely pointless. It is true that I have also been there. There were times when I would wake up with a burden on my chest, not because I had failed, but because I was terrified. The fear that I might not just be enough for you. Perhaps I did not have it with me. Oh, I see. It is possible that I would end up like everyone else who quit. But are you aware of what rescued me? Accolades, compliments, and opportunities that appear out of nowhere are not included. My life wasn't salvaged by discipline. My ability to concentrate and, more importantly, to do it for myself was what ultimately saved me. I let go of the expectation that Hollywood would come knocking on my door. I decided to quit waiting for my friends to encourage me to continue. My pursuit of an external motive came to an end. I simply got up and started showing up for myself every day, regardless of whether I felt like it or not, whether other people believed in me or not, and regardless of whether I had momentum. This was the only way I was able to ignite anything within me. As I went through the process of auditions, rehearsals, and failures, I found myself at a halt. I arrived at the location, I exerted pressure, and I prayed. The reason I worked was not because I was being watched by anyone, but rather because I could not take the idea of passing away. Every ounce of my potential is still within me. And yes, I am telling you this today. If you want to make changes in your life, you should quit waiting for other people to believe in you. Trust in your own abilities. Put an end to waiting for the ideal circumstances. Don't waste your time waiting for someone to applaud you. You should start clapping for yourself. Get it done, even if you are afraid of it. I am unsure. Go all out for it. While you are still recovering, you should get it done. When you are the only person who can see the vision, you should carry it out. A success story is something that everyone likes, but no one wants to hear about the challenges that were faced. Because of this, you have to be willing to embrace the role of your own supporter. It is necessary to be the one who provides encouragement to yourself at times, who is responsible for holding you accountable, and who believes even if people believe. The fact that doing so compels the rest of the world to pay attention makes it one of the most difficult things to obtain. Because you anticipated more from yourself rather than because you wanted attention, people will ultimately be unable to ignore you. This is not because you sought attention. Allow me to share something with you. Everything that you accomplish in the shadows will at some point be brought to light. You get up and get to work every morning while it is peaceful. You should practice every hour of silence. Even when no one is around to see you, every tear that you shed in prayer is significant. It makes a difference. It will help you become more resilient, stretch your muscles, and get you ready for what is ahead. Therefore, do not rush through the process. Do not skip any of the procedures. And under no circumstances should you presume that your efforts are going unnoticed as a result of the absence of applause. In the future, when the time comes, God will elevate you to such a high level that everyone will wonder how you got there. You will be able to smile and announce, I walked with God. I have finished the mission. God is watching. You can trust me. I did it for my own benefit. Today I want you to make a decision that is very important to you, that it is worth battling for your life, that it is worth making sacrifices for your purpose, and that it is worth striving to maintain your serenity. Talk to them if you please. Allow them to ponder and chuckle at your questions. Because you weren't doing it for them anyhow. You should let them pass through your wins while they're passing through. In addition to doing it for God, you are doing it for it, even if it was all you ever required. It all started with me and your journey at the beginning. That will not change at all. This is because there are an excessive number of people who are waiting for someone to believe in them and for someone to praise them. You are waiting for someone to come and tell you that you have what it takes to succeed. Your time will be saved by me. Stop wasting time. When there is no one else around, you should give yourself a pat on the back. The beginning of it all is there. It is in this location that the seeds are planted. In that lonely room when it's just you, your doubts, your aspirations, and your will to keep going, you must celebrate every small triumph. This is not something you should do after you have already achieved success or when the world is congratulating you. When it comes to the individuals in the back, I want to reiterate that every little victory is important. You are hoping to avoid having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Despite the fact that your body was yelling at you to stop, you managed to finish the workout. When is it? Not only did you succeed in applying for that job, despite the fact that fear tried to prevent you from doing so, but you also succeeded in keeping your head up when everything else around you was falling apart. When no one is rooting for you, you have to put in a lot of effort. When the lights are turned off, you are required to release the button. Once the doors have been shut and the room is completely dark, you are required to show up. And even if it could seem as though no one is paying attention to your efforts, I want to tell you something. That is the place where greatness is formed. Neither on stage, nor in front of cameras, nor in the applause, nor in the likes of the audience. The darkness, the silence, the early morning hours, and the late hours of the night are all places where greatness is conceived. It is born in the awkward moments, rejection and lessons that broke you, in the nights when you sobbed but got up the next day. It is born in the times when no one is looking for you. For this reason, I would like to pose a question to you. Why are you acting in this manner? As a result of the fact that your response is to agree, I am going to tell you the truth. You will experience a sense of emptiness for the rest of your life. You are going to be lost if you respond with applause, since applause tends to fade away. A single day could bring about a shift in approval. You have their love. When the next day arrives, they forget about you. That is the game. You should not participate in it. If, on the other hand, your response is, because I believe in myself, then you have established a solid foundation that will not shake when the audience does not speak. This is the kind of belief that remains unshakable even when people leave the room, because it is rooted in you rather than in them. This is the kind of gasoline that never runs out, even when circumstances get difficult. Also, let me to say it out loud. Permit me to spell it out for you. Nobody is owed an explanation for your development. You do not owe anyone anything. Allow them to think about it. Talk to them if you please. They will misunderstand you if you allow it. It is not your responsibility to bear that load. Rather, it is theirs. It is not necessary for you to have authorization to elevate who. There is no need to inquire with anyone about whether or not it is appropriate to desire more from your life. It is not necessary to minimize your own worth in order to make the minds of children happy. You were not devised to conform to the norm. You were designed to set yourself out. Therefore, keep your head held high, even if people are talking about you behind your back. Despite the fact that they do not believe in you, you should keep your dignity. You should maintain a straight posture, even if your knees are wobbly. Hold your head up and walk with pride. Act as if you are conscious of the fact that you are developing into something truly remarkable. Since God did not bring you this far, you should walk as if it is already finished, even if other people are unable to perceive it yet. Even if it does not show on the surface, and even if it does not look that your life is successful, so as to abandon you here. He has brought you this far in order to help you develop into the person He already knew you to be. Be sure to move with a sense of purpose and as if you have a vision. Because guess what? To be very honest, the majority of people won't see it till it's finished. It is not your intention for everyone to comprehend the vision that you have. It was designed to be lived through because of you. It is possible that they will depart if they do not like it. This allowed them to unfollow. The life that you are building is not for them. Therefore, give them permission to talk to themselves and put some distance between themselves. It is for you to read. You are the proprietor of this calling as well as this dream and this path. I give it to you. It is not necessary to have a group of judges involved. This does not call for a round of applause to be given. Your dedication, perseverance, and bravery are the only things that are required. And one day, if you really pay attention to what I'm saying, you'll think back on this period of your life, this stretch of time that feels like a storm. The one in which you are fighting wars and nothing makes any sense at anything. However, nobody is aware of it. The one in which you bemoan your sorrow in private but smile in public. When you look back, you will be smiling. That is something that you're going to say, I did that. I was able to finish that. I proceeded with my steps. I advocated for myself even when it appeared that it was impossible to do so, when no one else did. For the simple reason that no one cared, I continued to believe even when it was absurd to do so. Therefore, He did it for you, and that, my friend, this constitutes the real win. See, a comeback tale is something that the entire world appreciates. However, they do not tackle the topic of the lonely middle. They do not talk about the everyday grind, the part where you feel like you're not winning yet, but nevertheless ought to keep walking is not included in their calculations. It is not the triumph that makes you strong, rather it is the battle itself. Let me tell you something about the process. You're currently going through it, so try not to be depressed about it. Do not be in a hurry. You should not wish it away. Employ it. Take the rejection and use it as fuel. Fuel your fire with the agony. Make use of the silence to sharpen your focus. At the same time that everyone else is looking for quick wins and shortcuts, you are laying a strong foundation that will not be shaken by opinion. How does obedience come about? It is not possible for trends or things that were constructed in silence to ruin it. When it is ready, it lets out a roar. You should therefore keep your head up high, continue to move around, and continue to clap loudly and proudly for yourself, in spite of the fact that no one else participates, recognizes the progress being made, or believes in the dream. You do, and that is sufficient. It is sufficient to have you. You should therefore proceed to construct your life one brick at a time, one prayer at a time, one triumph, although a minor one. And when the world finally acknowledges you, let it to serve as a reminder that you have always been capable of creating something truly remarkable. Considering that no one cared about it, the only thing that was required of you was to believe in it. You did it for yourself because no one else did. In addition, this is the real victory.